You ever find a great local business and think, why didn't I know about this sooner? I'm Eric Poul, and on Small Business Big Dreams, we're uncovering the best places to shop, the top experts to trust, and the stories behind the businesses that make life just better. Whether you're a shopper, a business owner, or just someone who loves a great success story, this podcast is for you. So let's dive in and meet the people behind the businesses you wish you'd have found sooner. All right, welcome back to another episode of Small Business Big Dreams. I'm your host, Eric Bull, and today we have two amazing people from my hometown of Long Grove. We have Dan, co-founder and president of Poul's Landscaping. Thank you. And Jen, the marketing director and doer of a lot of other things on that laundry list. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
How you guys doing today?
Great.
Good. Well, we're excited to have you. Dan, why don't you give us the elevator pitch of what you guys do?
We are a full-service landscape contracting company from design, the initial design stages, through construction. We install most elements of landscaping, including hardscaping, planting, lighting, turf, drainage.
God, like everything in the yard.
On and on. And then afterwards, we also take care of the landscaping through maintenance. We have a full-service maintenance department. We have certified arborists on staff. We do plant health care for both plants and turf. We have organic options as well. And from basically start to finish. And if people are do-it-yourselfers, we coach them.
I should have just asked you what you don't do. I think that would have been. I think it would have been an easier ask. Very cool. Let's talk about you for a hot second, Dan. Did you just wake up one morning and think you wanted to start in landscaping? What's your background, and how'd you end up in this?
So it's a family business, and my father, Paul, that's who the company's named after. He started it in 1966.
Oh wow.
He immigrated over from Denmark in 1959. He worked at farms, other landscape companies. Otto Damgaard was the company he worked for in this area for about 4 or 5 years, and then he decided to start out on his own with a pickup truck, a couple team members, and he got off and running. And so that I came along. I got a business degree from Northern Illinois.
Very cool.
I started accounting, and it was a little. I decided to switch from that one, but
that's a 180 there for you.
But I learned a lot, and I went to marketing. I wasn't never intending on joining the family business, but like the Godfather movie, my father gave me an offer I couldn't refuse, and he basically said he had zero marketing. He had a business card, that was about it. No logo. And so I said, okay. So I joined. Didn't make much, but made a logo, did sales, and in the first year we doubled the business volume.
No big deal.
Yeah, but he didn't have a salesperson, so
yeah, okay.
I did the sales. He did the designing, and he did the installation, and it was a good worked out well, and we expanded from there. And my brother, who's the other owner, he has a actual horticulture degree from, I got to say it right, the Ohio State.
The Ohio State.
Yeah.
And then started, man, but come on, hook 'em horns.
Then he joined about 6 years later. He's younger than me, so.
Okay. So give us a timeline. How long ago did you join?
Full-time out of school in 1986.
It's just a little while ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've seen some things. You've been through some stuff.
Yes.
Okay. So you glazed over it there. I just want to double click on it. So the name of the business. So
it's an interesting story. So my dad, his real name in Denmark is Pouls, and that's the spelling of the company. Mm-hmm. And over in Denmark, it's actually pronounced Pouls, like P-O-L-E-S, Pouls. And when he came over here, he thought it'd be a good idea to switch the name to Paul, and that was his given name. But when he started the company, he decided, I want to make it a little different. He kept the original spelling of the name.
In some of that heritage.
Yeah.
I like that. Where in Denmark is he from?
He's from a small island called Mors.
Island off of Denmark. Okay.
Yeah.
And then ends up out here in Long Grove, Illinois. It's of all places.
Yes. No, it's a lot of back in the 1960s, a lot of people came over from Europe and established, and there's a pretty big Danish community in the Chicago area.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So I'm the Polish, so I can tell you there's a huge Polish population. Well, obviously we have Jen here with us too, so we're not going to forget about you, Jen. But how long ago did you join to the business?
4 years ago. I'm coming up on my anniversary in April. So
4 years.
Yeah.
That must have flown by.
It has. I've done a lot of different things. It's been very interesting. Learned so much.
In your background, has it been in marketing, or how did you end up in doing that with Dan over here?
I actually went to school for apparel merchandising and design.
Okay.
But my husband works for the company. He's been with the company for, I think, 8 or 9 years at this point. And he was like,
9.
There's an opening. So I came in as the maintenance assistant and moved into marketing the last couple of years.
Amazing. Dan, how big, how many, let's do it. Let's quantify that. How many employees do you have?
Roughly 60. We're a seasonal business, so we keep 20 full-time people over the wintertime, and then we do a seasonal layoff from December through right about now. We're bringing everybody back in 10 days.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got to be coming up real quick.
Yeah,
it's beautiful out today.
It is. It's always hard to figure out when you're going to start or
when you're going to finish too.
Yes, so we do have to give our team members enough notice so they show up. They take care of whatever they need to take care of and come back to work. And we have a very high percentage of returning employees. It's well over 90%. Come back every year.
That's actually really impressive. To give you guys my background, I work in recruiting, talent acquisition, and I consult for companies on that. I have a day job and all that. So to have a 90% return in a seasonal type of situation is like astronomically high.
Yes.
It's like way above and beyond.
Yes.
So you're doing something right.
Yeah, no, and that's one of one of the interesting stories. When I got started, I was working in high school, college. I was on crews. The person who I was working under is actually still at the company. It's been with us 40 years. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Loyalty there is incredible. I love that. Obviously, in the time you've been there, the business has changed probably quite a bit, I would be fair to say.
Yes, we've gone a lot of different directions. Initially, when I came to the company, we were heavy commercial. Okay. And probably the most famous local project we did was Arlington Park Racetrack.
Probably one of the most famous, yeah.
Until it burnt down. So our that was the part we did. Our tree. We did the older facility, and then it burnt down, and they rebuilt it. We did do some of the work for that. However, interesting story. We did trackside. It used to be Ditka's trackside. We did that, and then while they were building the new facility, and they wanted to have us bid on that, but we had to make a decision because we were non-union, and we had to make a decision if we were going to go union or not, because they didn't want any interruption.
Politics of
yes,
all that,
so we just, my father, I wasn't I was just a college kid, but my dad decided to take a pass on that. So, but then after that, then we took more of a residential direction.
So that was going to be my next question. So now you're more. Do you do commercial at all? Or
yes, we do. We do commercial, but I would say right now we're about 90% residential, 10% commercial. We are trying. That's part of our strategic plan, is to get more commercial, but it's more. We're not a mow and go kind of company, so we tend to work for places that have a lot of plants that. A little higher end. Okay.
And I think you started kind of going down this rabbit hole. So, there's, I would say, quite a few landscaping companies out there, right?
Yes.
So why work with you versus someone else?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And one of the things that I do as the owner is I offer a walkthrough after each job is completed, and I would say I'll use 90% again. Take me up on that. And I don't ask them. They'll usually volunteer this information to me, and they'll say over and over, "You're the best company that we've ever worked with from," and this goes for all contractors, from a ease. We're very easy to work with, accommodating. When we start a job, we stay on it till it's finished. We don't pull off, come back. So it's very seamless. We have very strong communication. So that's, I think, one thing that sets us apart. We try very hard. We work very, very hard at that. And we're also a family-run company. There's plenty of family-run companies, but I like to think that we treat our employees as family. That's why they stay with us so long. 25 years, more than 25 years is very, very common. I probably think we got 10, 15 people that are over that
And
right
multi-generational, like we have father, son, grandfather.
Yes. Yeah.
Husbands, wives.
I have a supervisor who has our dad. His dad works for us and his son. So,
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And they're working under him, so he must be
doing something. Right.
Cousins.
Yeah,
we have,
right.
lots of family that has come together.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think that just says a ton about the culture of the business. I mean, you trust enough to bring in your family, your friends to come work there. You keep working there. It don't matter what the business is, how well you're paying. If it's toxic or people don't like it, they're not going to come back.
Well, one of the things too is and Jen and her husband both work for us, and in a lot of places that might not be a good idea. But
fair.
We still like each other, so
And my wife is also she's the office manager. So, and we see each other every day, but we do not we try not to take things at home, and if we do, if we do go out to dinner and we spend most of it talking business, then I suppose we can have the company pay for that one.
Yeah, that's a write-off. That's a company write-off right there. Yeah, well.
And then Alan, your brother, and his wife.
And my brother's wife also works for, and he has a couple sons, or he's got 3 sons actually, and a daughter, and they've all worked in the business. I have 3 daughters; they've all worked in the business. So,
and I would say there's a lot of people who've been on this podcast that said they would never want to work with their parents, or be in that industry. So I think that the fact that they have and they do, I'm like, I loved my dad, but man, I didn't want anything to do with his business. So here I am.
I will say the only negative thing to watching my daughters, they're, I guess you could say they're all millennials, maybe one Gen Zer, but
wow, I feel so attacked right now.
But they don't like, I work, unfortunately, 60 hours a week in the high season, and they don't need to do that for the jobs that they do. Yeah. So that's why I don't have any of my kids that continued on. I think is the main reason. Plus, they don't not interested in horticulture. So.
It's a niche environment. Let's put it that way. And I would also say there's plenty of entrepreneurs that would love to only work 60-hour weeks.
I would. That's what I'm working for. But I'm an admitted workaholic. So I got to be doing something. And Are
you typically working on the business or in the business?
Boy, that's a very good question. On the business, I would say I want to be working on the business most of the time, but I do find myself working in the business a lot. And that has a lot of it has to do with I wear multiple hats. So if we're having a really growth spurt in construction, I will put on the project manager hat. If we need more sales, I put on the salesperson hat. In all departments. So that's So I would probably say 50-50.
That's a better blend than most. I think some earlier on entrepreneurs, business owners and stuff we've had on here, they would say it's almost like 90-10. They're there at the register. They're stocking shelves, whatever. And it's like you don't stop doing that, you'll never be able to grow the business. And it's like they know That's
true. Yeah.
But it's like they just can't seem to just pull themselves away from it. And you're fortunate in a place. Obviously, you guys have been around a long time. You've got a lot more things in place and process. We also run into a lot of our business owners are afraid to make that first hire. You know, the
Yes.
delegation, the trust, the ability to train someone to do it the way you want them to do it and hold them accountable to it. I think it's also a huge way to get that first step of getting from working in the business and on the business. I'm going to probably screw that up 3 more times today, but we'll see. All right. Since it'll take a while to walk through the last 35 years of what you've been doing, give us some highlights of some ways the business has pivoted, because I know you kind of implied there was some shifting through there.
Yeah. So when my dad was running everything, he sold, he designed, and he project managed. So it was easier at that time to bid work than have to do a design. So he got in with some really good landscape architects, and because he had low overhead, he was able to be very price competitive.
Love that.
And that's in the commercial industry. That is very important. Price competitiveness.
Lowest bidder.
Yeah, in a lot of cases, or you have to be there.
Yeah.
And you know, we still do bid work, and we are there, but it's not bidding against 8 other companies. It's usually 1 or 2. The switching over to going to residential, we hired a landscape architect. That was a big pivot point, I believe, around 1994.
Challenging the timeline here on you.
Yeah. So we hired this landscape architect. He was very good. His name is Bill Bach. I haven't seen him in a while. I think he moved out of state, but he was here for about 8 to 10 years, and he grew the business quite a bit. He had connections. He was a hockey player, and hockey players know everybody. And
it's a small world in hockey space.
Yeah. And so he brought in a lot of work, and he actually, when he was working for us, we brought in 2 interns and assistants, both designers, and they went to school for it. One's Andrew Tazinski. He actually lives in Grays Lake, not too far from here. And he graduated from U of I. And he worked under Bill for about 2 or 3 years, and then he branched out on his own. We have another designer that's currently with us too, Rick Ramoser, and he went through the same process. So and then Bill, he had to basically leave the States because his wife had allergies or something like that, and he had to go to a different kind of climate. But I
have the same problem. I'm packing up to Florida right now. Let's go.
But anyway, so that really took us from point, call it A to B. And then we've been slow and steady since then, steady growth, 5 to 10% a year. Then you get the recession that knocks you down a couple pegs. But
yeah, I was curious. I was actually going to double click on more of during the pandemic era when people were more at home and there was people spending time in their backyards more.
Yeah.
And for me, I went to the city every single day for years. So that's 3 hours of commuting. And once I stopped doing that, I was like, I realized what I didn't have or did want in my yard, right? Did that work in your favor at all through that time?
Yes, I hate to say this, but the pandemic was very, very good for the landscape industry, and I think any sort of home remodeler type of So we had a lot of customers. We had to turn away so much business at that time. It's
got to be the worst.
It was, but it actually wasn't. So, having your schedule full is a good
problem.
It takes away a lot of stress.
What were I know we went kind of through that elevator pitch. Well, if you what's the bread and butter of your guys' business? What do you, or even better yet, what's the parts you like to do, or you want the customer to call you and be like, "This is what we want to do"?
Well, because there's not one specific thing that we're known for. I just think it's the overall customer experience. So I would say where we're going to be most beneficial to our customers seeking us out is going to be a one-stop shop.
Okay.
We don't have to call 4 or 5 different people to do this project. We just deal with you. And even if there's things that we don't do, we don't do irrigation. We work with irrigation companies.
All right, I'm going to play dumb here for a hot second. So when you say irrigation, what would that entail?
Sprinkler systems.
Sprinklers and
yeah, automatic sprinkler systems, which are big, and we know how to fix them and operate them, but you have to have licensed plumbers and things of that nature. So that we don't do, but we coordinate that with the customer.
Partner with that, yeah.
Also, carpenters, with wood decking.
Okay.
Our designers will design that into projects, pergolas, different types of trellises, different kinds of things, and we'll coordinate that. And we'll make it a seamless process to where if we're waiting on a contractor, that doesn't happen. It's not going to slow the job down. And we're very good at sticking with schedules, which,
oh, God.
and meeting deadlines. I can't even remember an important deadline that we did not make. Because
that's something to hang your head on.
Because we have enough employees that we can throw the kitchen sink at it. Like I've had jobs come down to, you get bad weather and it's like, oh my gosh, how are we going to get this done in a week? And it would be a week that it would be a month.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we would throw 3-4 crews at it and have supervisor. I would personally be on the site the whole time, and it's still done high quality. But they had an important event and it got done.
So it reminds me of the what was that show where they redid the backyard in like a weekend? They had like 50 people there. I was like, oh, so that's a thing. They actually can do that. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not done. I will say this: you don't make much money on those projects because they're run very inefficiently. You have that many people out there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the most expensive thing is labor, right?
Yeah. But when people ask us, can you do it on this date? I will. If we can't, I will tell them, no, we can't. Mm-hmm. Our schedules, there's no way we can get this. We have this. People will have an event and they'll call you a month before the event, and it still hasn't been designed or anything else, and this isn't going to happen. With us anyway.
Yeah, my daughter's getting married in 3 weeks. Can we make the backyard beautiful?
Right.
Yeah. No. What would be a more comfortable timeline? Like, what would you prefer?
Well, we're always encouraging, if you're having a design build project is what we term it in our industry, they should be contacting you in the fall.
Okay.
But prior to the spring, or at the very worst, January. Okay. Because you have to be able to get out to the site, assess the site, and I know we get snow here, but it doesn't hang around much anymore. Yeah. So you can pretty much do site assessments all year long. But if they contact us in the fall, January, they can be first on the book in April and May. If they wait till April or May, it's going to be challenging to technically get done in the spring. Once you get into June, it's hot. And if it's a big planning job and they don't have irrigation, automatic sprinkler systems, oftentimes we'll say maybe you want to wait till fall.
And is that's for the plant's sake?
Yeah, well, for watering.
Yeah.
Because if and that's the other thing that we that makes us a unique. We do have a really extensive warranty program. We warranty. Yeah.
On landscaping?
Yes. Well, landscaping, hardscaping. Yes, hardscaping is 5 years. Trees are 2. And then shrubs are 1. And the reason why we do trees for 2 is that it takes a tree a couple years to get acclimated to the site. And I've seen a tree survive after 1 year and that's dead the next. So that gives the customer an extra cushion. And shrubs will usually, if they make it over the winter, they're going to be good.
They'll fine.
Yeah.
So what's a warranty claim on a hardscape? Like I just that's curious. I've actually never heard of a warranty claim.
Settling mainly.
Okay.
And our number one enemy is the chipmunk.
Let me tell you.
So they they'll tunnel under and then sections will collapse. Yeah. And then you have to put up chipmunk defenses. But even though it wasn't a poor installation, stuff can still happen. Also, a lot of times there can be drainage issues too that can affect hardscape stability.
Interesting. I would have kind of went the route that most companies say, "Oh, act of God, too bad."
Well, if someone rams into a tree with a car, maybe that one we're not going to honor. But
User error. Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll chalk it under that one. Yeah.
But I mean, we've if something dies a plant, it's usually going to be from lack of water or too much water, and we try. That's why I do a walkthrough with most of the clients is to teach them how to water, and then we keep an eye on it.
Okay.
People will call us and say, "Hey, the leaves are starting to turn yellow. What is that?" Usually, I can ask them what plant it is, and I can pretty much tell them what I think it is. But I'll follow it up with a site visit.
Okay.
And then, hey, you need to water more or stop watering.
Do you guys obviously you do a lot of planting and hardscaping and all that? Do you also do removal?
Oh yeah.
Good. Yep. We have a tree you can take with you on your way out.
Yeah, I mean, we do removals. We go up to a certain size. We don't remove large trees.
Okay.
I think we go up to 20 feet tall. We don't. We're not. We have insurance, but
that's a different type of.
It's a different animal. You got wood chippers, and we don't have any of that. And the climber, we don't have climbers. So we there's plenty of tree companies that we work with, and we'll give references for those.
Let's talk about you for a second. What's what's a valuable lesson you learned about yourself once you started getting into the thick of the business?
Myself, I would say I am very good at overcoming things, challenges. I'm very I drive myself.
Okay.
To solve things. I mean, there are, as most business owners would know, there's always problems
every day,
and there's fires. So I'm pretty calm under fire. And I try not to make rash emotion decisions. So that's kind of what I've learned about myself, and I'll get people that will tell me that.
I always love, so left field question for you. What's a mistake you made and how did you recover from it?
Oh, well, the mistake I made, I actually didn't recover from. But
okay. Interesting.
But no, I mean, it was just, I was only in my 20s, mid to late 20s, and I had an opportunity in our industry, landscape architects, that did not get regulated by the government until, again, this was in the mid 90s. So so people would go to school to become landscape architects, which is quite prestigious. However, any Joe with a pencil could make a doodle on a napkin and call himself a landscape architect without.
There was no certification.
No certification.
Like true labeling.
So our industry, which is a really good industry, our association, the Illinois Landscape Contractors Association, and they just recently changed their name to Landscape Illinois, and so they represented a lot of us, and then there's the American Society of Landscape Architects, ASLA. The ASLA wanted this regulation. The Illinois did not, because they're representing all these contractors. So they came to an agreement to get this law passed, because this is an actual law that went in by Illinois, and they said, okay, we'll do this, but all the people that are calling themselves landscape architects can be grandfathered in.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, talk about a bubble miss there.
So yeah. I was designing at the time. I did go to classes for it, but I just, because I was in my 20s, I was like, wasn't thinking.
Been there, done that.
But I did not take advantage of that, and so the mistake there was that we probably lost out on big growth potential, because the law was, now the new people that got out of college that wanted to be registered, they had to work under a landscape architect, and that could be a grandfathered in person. So we lost out. We recruited a lot of people trying to get other landscape architects, and they didn't want to come to us because they can't get registered.
There's no one,
especially the younger ones that weren't.
Yeah.
And I still know people my age that were landscape architects, and they got a degree in computer science, and but that was a missed opportunity.
That's a good one. I wouldn't have seen that one coming for you. This is the best part when it's not live. I wanted to go somewhere in the questioning, and you alluded to a fact a while back, earlier in the show that, with the kids and you work 60 hours and you're workaholic and all that, but we do have family, we do have lives and hobbies. How do you balance all of that?
You get less sleep. The golf game suffers.
Oh man.
No, I think my daughters would definitely say I was a good dad. I went to everything. I have 3 daughters is a little different. My brother's got 3 sons and 1 daughter, and the baseball and for the people that do hockey, all that kind of activity, which is more, I guess, a male type of sport. Now these days things are changing, but my daughters were all in plays. I had 1 tennis player, 1 cheerleader. So I would go to these events, but it wasn't like every day.
Yeah, 7 different practices into traveling 3.5 hours for a tournament. And that's 12 hours long.
So there wasn't any of that, and again, I went to everything. And I would put to see my daughter play tennis. I would leave work early. I would not miss that kind of stuff. But tennis only takes an hour, so it's not like a baseball.
It was a long lunch, and then back at it. It's good that you found that and you implemented that. I know there's a lot of people that struggle with making that decision, that the choice of making a little bit more money for the family or being there for the family too.
Yeah.
And it's I am in a fortunate place. I don't have to make that decision, so I bless those that do. So let's. You guys have so many notes. It's so great. It's almost actually. You guys, I'm gonna put this on the pod. I'm talking about it right now. They've come so prepared. They've got printouts, notes, highlighted. Like they are. Like everyone else is like, oh, I didn't actually look at the question preps I sent you. We're just gonna wing it.
Well,
like, oh, okay.
Well, that's what I wanted to do, but this marketing person here
said, no, we're going to sit down a couple times and talk before.
They prepped me, and they asked me these questions, and they said, no, you can't say that.
Oh, see, now I want, that's the stuff, that's the content I want. Oh my God. It's actually just impressive. I love it, honestly. You can't say, what did he say? Oh, there's nothing politically incorrect on this podcast ever. We never do anything wrong. Now I'm so distracted. Let's regroup here. See, this is the best part, that it's not live and I can edit anything I want out of this. We talked early on in the business. How do you differentiate your business? Where am I on my own checklist? Personal sacrifices, most valuable lessons, balancing time. All right. Other than becoming a landscape architect back in when that was all getting regulated, what's something you would have done differently with 2020 hindsight, because we all have it?
I would say I am with personnel decisions. So I've hired a lot of different people, and some were a very good fit. Some I probably waited a little too long. That this person's probably not a good fit, and just not taking too long to figure things out. I tend to give people a lot of rope.
Believe the best in people, for sure.
Yeah, and I see the best in people. I'm like, oh, give them another chance. And that's one of the beauties of the family business, I guess, is and there are people on the flip side where I've given them a lot of chances and they've turned out very good.
Yeah.
I think it was worth it. Some people just need a little more push.
A little more time.
Yeah.
Sometimes too. Do you have I'm always interested in the hiring part of it, and I'm glad I get to talk to you, because a lot of the businesses I deal with on the show, maybe have 1 or 2 employees, or none, they are the only employee. So the fact that you've dealt with a bigger staff for a longer period of time, I get to ask some of these hiring questions that I like to ask. Do you have a philosophy in place of who to hire or how to hire?
Yeah, so I have people, my wife included, and Jen's on that team as well, where they will do the initial interview.
Okay.
They do the screening, and then the applicant will make it through that level, and then I will come in, basically, maybe after the second interview. Usually the first is done by phone, or and then there's usually a face-to-face. And these days we'll skip that, and then I'll come in the second interview because you got to be quick to get good people, and then we have a team interview. So I'll step out of the interviewing, and it will be basically 4 or 5 potential coworkers that this applicant will be working with. So that now they get a chance to ask about the company and not have to worry about, well, they're not going to be, because the boss is sitting there. They might not hear any of the bad stuff. Not that we have any bad stuff, but and that's been very effective. So they'll step out. I'll ask the team, what do you think? And like this last candidate that we just hired, I had hire her immediately, and then I'd basically come back in and start talking, what's it going to take to get you, And
so you guys are doing this all within a single day, maybe an initial phone interview.
Maybe within a week or so, a couple days. I mean, we try to go, you got to go quickly with candidates these days.
One person that we just hired that I'm referencing, she's a designer, she's still in school. So she came in just for this interview and just with us for that one interview. So we pretty much, we didn't want to mess around, and she was so good that we didn't want to
hesitate.
Have an opportunity if she's going to
talk to the competition.
Right. No, she did talk to the competition. So we did have a little bit of a...
even better. Okay.
She was smart, yeah.
I'm curious on this, and I'm just double-clicking because curiosity kills the cat here. So when you do that team meeting, the coworkers, is it this person and 5 people in a room? And just kind of hang out and talk?
Yeah, that can be intimidating.
We give them a little warning. Make sure, hey, you're going to come meet the team and sit with 4 or 5 people, so it's not, you don't walk in and you're like, whoa.
And I'm all I do is I picture you walk into a room and there's a panel and you sit with that single chair for the panel and just get interrogated.
It's nice on the team side too. I mean, I feel like
it's more friendly, conversational. I mean, I'm there for the questioning of of your qualifications and what would you do in this. But once it gets through the initial screening, and we do have an HR company that we work with as well that's involved. They're pretty qualified.
Okay.
And I don't think there's any questions that I'm going to ask. It's more of a fit type of thing.
It's the soft skills that you're really vetting out. They know what they need to know, but how will they bring it to the business?
Right.
And so you said you have a third party HR company. So are they the very first line of defense in the interview process? Yeah,
they actually they're involved in the recruiting as well.
Okay.
And so they'll get applications and screen them, and then that will go to my wife Wendy, and now we have
Megan too.
Megan too is involved. So there's multiple people looking at that.
Right now we're seeing a lot in the industry, in any industry, in the hiring space specifically. You open up a job, you get 8,000 applicants, but 7,995 have nothing to do with the role that they're applying for. And I've been doing this 15 years. I've never seen the hiring space the way it is today, ever, or even similar. People talk through COVID about losing their job stuff, but people were getting jobs again in their own space. Everyone's trying to either switch careers or I'm chalking it up to corporate America, to the big guy that we don't like talking about on the show, is they're leaning out the middle, and they're just jobs that are just gone. So there is more people out there, very educated, work the middle class, and their job is just gone because companies are we we don't really need that role, or the company will still run without that role. It's been a weird space, but I digress. See, I rabbit holed first. So, I just find hiring, I think hiring is such a broken process. The normal, stereotypical textbook way, I think it's entirely broken. It's like speed dating for your wife. Like you literally you're gonna make me spend 30 minutes with someone and decide I'm gonna spend the next 5, 10, 25 years with them. I'm like, it's the dumb reality show, Love at First Sight, or what? Isn't that where they get married like immediately, right? Like it's the same concept, and it's so broken. Yeah, and you're like, but that's where I teach people then to, fine, hire fast, but you also have to fire fast.
Yeah.
And there's definitely times where giving chances, opportunity, totally okay. But then there's also times like, what are you holding on to? Like, move on. Like, it's okay. It's your otherwise it's your business, right? Yeah. Anyway, I digress. I could be on that soapbox for a whole episode myself.
Well, and we spend more time with our work family oftentimes than our family.
Right.
So gotta like the people you work with.
Yeah.
So.
And it has to make dollars and cents. Bad pun. I know. Sorry. All right, Dan. How do you measure success?
Well, I measure success by happiness, actually. I mean, do I like doing my job? And are the people that are working for us, what's morale like? So, and of course there is we had our sales goal. Did we hit the sales goal? Did we make any money? There's
right.
There's that kind of success too. But I like to see our people growing, and that to me, if and we are very big in our company promoting from within to try to make a career paths, so that people not necessarily some people are just happy with what they're doing, and there's nothing wrong with that, and they're very skilled. But some people want to, hey, I'm a young person, I want to move, I want to be able to be a manager someday. And I think when they see that other people are doing that don't necessarily have to have a college degree to become a manager, I think that's very...
Can you say that louder for the people in the back? You do not need a college degree for every job and career line. Like,
exactly.
But I don't want to soapbox that conversation either. I love the fact that you guys, though, you try to career path, promoting within, I think is huge. I think, one, you don't want to lose that knowledge that you already have within the team. But it gives certain people, if that's their choice, they want to strive for it and keep growing and, reach for whatever's next. They have a visibility into what that could look like and how to get there. I think that's a big ball drop by a lot of businesses.
I've been able to see that happen in my 4 years and kind of been a part of that too. So it's really nice.
Well, and then obviously and your husband as well.
Yep.
Yeah. You said, and your husband's 9 years. You said something like that, and then you're 4-ish.
4, yeah.
Yeah.
In our prep, I have to say, you did say happy clients.
Yes.
That's another measure of success, and yes. I thought that was really great. I loved it.
Chime in. I like that. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Happy clients. Elaborate, please.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, part of the success I get to experience is meeting those clients. And sometimes I meet them early on. I mean, I'm the screener. I'm the lead screener, so I'm the initial. For most customers, especially on the construction side, I'll talk to them first and find out if we're going to be a fit for them, and then get the ball rolling. But then I'll come in at the end too, not just to collect the check, but to find out how the experience was, and it's really rewarding seeing the happy customers, and it just kind of feeds into referrals. They tell their friends, and that's where most of our work comes from. I think most good companies would say the same thing. And the reviews are so important these days.
Oh my God, the reviews.
Yes.
Google and Yelp and whatever else, all that.
Yeah, but that's one thing that we're pretty good at too, is asking for that.
You have to.
We used to not, but people, I think people have to be
it's weird. You do not have to tell people to leave a bad review. But you have to really ask people they've had the best experience of their life and they still will not write a review. Write a review, people. If you had a great experience, write about it. It's worth leaps and bounds for the businesses. I'm really interested. So I did a little pre-homework because I was interested on how technology and like hardscaping and landscaping crossed. How has it affected your business directly, or how do you see the future of your business being affected by? I've seen things with drones and LiDAR scanners and all kinds of stuff.
Well, I will start by saying I am very, what would be the word? Non-tech.
That's it.
I'm a reluctant tech guy.
That's a nice way to put it. Okay.
So I have, fortunately, I have people that are very technologically proficient, and I actually will say back in the late 1980s, when I started designing, I was doing my designs on an Apple. So I was one of the first.
Really?
I was in my 20s, so I was ahead of my time a little bit before the CADs became out there.
Yeah.
But even though I wasn't if it was a hand drawing, it would be bad. But because I could do it on an Apple, people were very impressed by that. And I sold a lot of work because I did it. I mean, I would print it out. It would be these pages, the 8.5 by 11 page, and I would tape them all together.
Yeah.
And then I would take it to a blueprint shop, make a nice blueprint.
Oh my gosh.
And I did that for a while, but now we have CADs, and we also have video imaging, and the software is just crazy what the leaps and bounds of the software has done. It does everything from routing, job costing, you name it. The software does it.
Which we just got into about three years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Industry software.
21st century.
Yeah. Well, no, we've had software before.
Yeah.
But we upgraded.
Nice.
And then technology. One of the things that I personally thought was going to be the new wave. Let's get on the wave. Is going to be auto mowers. The robot mowers like your Roomba.
Yeah.
Luckily, we decided to just try out a couple.
And that'll tell you exactly why it's not going to take off.
Yeah, and we did it. We had it at our own office, and we put it in one customer. But if that auto mower runs into a stick or a branch,
the wind blows at just the right angle.
Yeah, and a lot of times they'd be like tipped over like a turtle, And but I always joked with everybody. I love my auto mower at our farm because it's like my friend.
You talk to it
when I go in there to work on a Saturday. I'll go in Saturday for maybe 4 hours to do office work.
Okay.
But I always had my auto mower coming by my window.
Yeah.
With the flags in it too. It had
and then my employees, team members put some flags, Danish flags in one day. So,
That's hilarious. That's so good. I looked into these auto mowers a little while back, and the amount of money I would have to spend to get it all set up right and get it to work, and if it even worked and all that. I'm like, I can pay my current lawn guy for the next 4 years and prepay him and still have saved money over what the whole system was going to cost. And I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of very reasonable priced
it's come way
people
down.
cutting lawn. What got me really wanting to try it was that I went to Denmark. That's where all my relatives are, and I visited cousins, and they all had auto mowers.
Really?
And
they have like perfectly flat, clean yards, all of them?
You would think, but it just seemed to work for them, and they all had it, and I was like, oh, that's the wave. But some large landscape companies have gone to that, and I think it's more appropriate for the commercial, like just a flat, like a football field type of yard, and it would certainly be appropriate for athletic fields.
I've seen it pretty well established in the farming space, like big flat open fields, like you said. I've seen, but they're much larger units. I mean, they're massive. They're insane how big they are. But the agriculture. Anyway, I got to attend these basically like robotics, but specifically for farming equipment. It was really cool. And we got to go because of the drone stuff, which made me think of your guys' stuff. The imaging side of it. And
we've used drones for filming projects. promotional. Actually, we have a really nice one that one of our Andrew, the guy I mentioned before, one of our designers, his son was into that. And they went out one weekend and shot a whole bunch of our sites, and that was really cool how good those shots were.
And people love that. They love seeing it.
Yeah.
I also there's been some better technology where you guys have seen, you can take a picture of my backyard and then put almost like a VR image of what it would potentially look like over my actual backyard.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's crazy. Because it's like, I'm not a good person at visualizing. We'll just do it like this over here. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then they do that stuff. They did it for our kitchen. It was like, that's so cool. Yeah.
And we have that capability. And we can offer that to people. And the only thing a while ago, this has been out for a while, I'm going to say at least 10, 15 years, there's been video imaging out there, is everything would be in bloom at once, and that's just not going to happen. And then they get it, it's like, well, this isn't what it
never
looks like.
Will look like that, yeah. The one bush that blooms for 3 days once a year, happens to just be in bloom with everything else. Yeah, no. I'm gonna something kind of I was alluding to before we kind of started recording here. But if I'm looking to redo my yard, are there things I should avoid? Common industry things or common consumer things they think they want it, but they're actually wrong. Kind of bad fads, maybe even.
Yeah, the number one mistake or problem that I see when I go to take a look at someone's yard that they want to do a renovation is that people that don't know how big plants get, they don't know mature sizes. So when they get them from, let's say, a Home Depot, they're nice and small and cute, and they'll put them some people will put them 4 or 5 feet away from the corner of their house, and then this thing wants it get to be 30 feet wide, and
whoops.
Yeah, and so I see that a lot, and that would be, so my main advice would be know the plant and proper siting on your property. And there's sun versus shade. There's all kinds of things to know that you can look up. I mean, it's information is there.
Google, man.
But initially, a landscape, and most people can't plant 30-foot trees. You need equipment for that.
Right.
So you're going to get stuff a lot smaller. But just plant it at the right spacing. You might have to wait 5 years for this plant to really fill in.
You're telling that to a world that wants everything and they want it now.
That is the tough part.
Yeah.
That is the tough part. But perennials are very big right now. They're and you can get immediate effect on perennials. Trees take a long time.
My bushes that I put in my front yard are taking forever to grow. I had this whole line of bushes right under my windows here, and one winter we had that deep vortex polar winter, whatever. It killed them all. So we planted some new ones, and I swear they have not grown in 3 years. It's they look great, but they are not getting bigger, and they still look like these little tiny. You were judging my whole front yard on the way up.
Well, some of the things too to know is if you're buying trees, for instance, we have a nursery, 150 acres of nursery stock. So we've been growing
150 acres.
Yeah, we got 110 in Wadsworth and 45 in Long Grove.
Oh wow!
And you learn a lot when you grow the trees from start and when they're very small. Mm-hmm. If they're grown in the same soil and the same climate, they're going to do a lot better. Mm. Also, if you're going to plant something at your house, you have to check what kind of soil you have. Now, most of the time, it's clay, rocky clay, and you have to make a nice big pit for that tree where you're going to have some good soil in there. But over time, the roots will get out into the nasty stuff, and then they'll still do okay. But having it a plant that's going to do well in this environment is what you need.
I've got the least green thumb you'll ever meet, so I would need to be like babysit my own plants. But my wife, the other hand, she's the total opposite. She loves it. She's all into that. I swear, you come back here in like 2 months, our yard will look beautiful. You just came on a really gross, wintry, gray day. Let's talk. What is... Here, we'll do a simple one. What is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received?
Get to know your bank.
Whoa, I feel a heavy story on that line.
No, I have a friend of the family who is a really he just recently passed away, but he wrote a book and he was a really good businessman, and he taught me a lot. And one of his advice was, because in business you're going to have your ups and downs, and in the lean years when your revenue isn't not quite what it should be, to make a go of it, you need to be able to. You're going to have, any business I think is going to need working capital line of credit. If they're going to be growing equipment lines, so you're going to need financing. But at the same time, you don't want to be in massive debt. So working with your banker that can, if you have those bad lean times, is important, to where they're not going to say pay us now.
Do you feel? I think you're maybe one of the first I've been able to ask this, especially in the banking space. It used to be very relationship based, right? Like, I remember my dad when he had his business. He could go. He had his banker guy he would talk to, and they needed help, or they were talking about maybe getting an injection of cash for whatever. And now I feel like it's just so already like mathematically calculated. Like there is no relationship, or is it? If your business is big enough, can you still have that relationship with the bank?
I think if you, we're not. I mean, I guess we're mid-size. I wouldn't call. For a landscape company, we're on a slightly larger size, but not. We're not. Yeah. We're not the.
But you carry some weight. You're not. You know.
I just think having that. There's a lot of community banks. That will work with smaller businesses, as long as you manage to pay down your loans and working capital. We pay that down. The goal is to pay that down every year. Yeah. And then after that, then you can use your retained earnings for growth.
Okay.
Just having a person, I believe, is. You can talk to them. They'll also consult with you too. They'll want to see your financials, and if there's anything to question, they'll ask questions, and it's also, you get it educated as well.
Yeah, I think that relationship is underrated, because I hear my CEO of my own company talk about it, and I think we're technically, by the definition of Illinois, we're a large business now because we have 1,000 employees, but we still feel small. Let's put it that way. We feel like a small business. All right, so we've talked a lot about your business today. If somebody was interested in getting a hold of you, getting some quotes, getting some ideas, what's the best way to get a hold of you guys and get some info?
Jen, I'll let you.
I knew that was coming.
And over to Jen. Welcome to the show. Here we go.
You can visit our website, pauls.com. You can follow us on social platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn.
Pinterest?
Yeah. Because people are pinning, ideas for their lawn and their outdoor space.
I think you're the first business we've had on here that's said they have a Pinterest. I really am liking that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Paul's Landscaping across the board. And then...
do you guys have a TikTok?
We don't have a TikTok. We have YouTube.
Man. You have a YouTube?
So, yeah, we have YouTube. But, I mean, getting those ideas for, like, outdoor kitchens, just space that you can spend time with your family, reading, whatever you're wanting to do. Pinterest is huge for that,
That's a great point. I never even thought about it. I'm kind of embarrassed that I just didn't even click. I love that you guys do that. I know we've talked about a lot. Is there something within those notes? There's so many that we didn't talk about. This is your show, so we can plug anything you guys want to talk about.
In our prep, we talked about, I just asked him, well, what do you do for fun? Because you have like little free time being a business owner. So
I mean, silver platinum.
right?
I thought there was a nice
Come
little
on.
setup there for them, but
Well, yeah, I mean, and this is just part of the seasonality of the business. In the winter, we're not shut down,
okay.
but we're not doing
You don't
jobs for the
snowplow?
most. We don't snowplow,
Okay.
and we're not installing anything. We have a couple maintenance crews that prune, dormant pruning is what we call it, but that's when I take my vacation. So I'm a big skier, so I
Where do you like to go?
out west. I was at Aspen, Jackson
Nice.
Hole.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just up at Mount Bohemia last weekend.
Really?
If
Very
you-
cool.
Yeah, and then I cross country ski some when we have snow, which is not a lot. But so that's when I do my traveling, and we family trip too. And then once the season rolls on, then it's buckles down. I also started a vineyard in 2016.
Just started it
Yeah,
almost 10
yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, I mean it's actually not that. It's pretty sizable. It's I got over 500 vines.
Is this you do it here locally?
In Long Grove.
In Long Grove?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's at our nursery, and it's a hobby. And my wife and I have been to a lot of wineries in the world, both out in California and Europe, and then we started going to some in the Midwest, and it's like, oh, they can grow wine here?
Yeah.
Oh, this doesn't taste so bad. This is actually pretty good. I'm like, and then once we were starting to become empty nesters, I was looking for hobbies that I could, and I really like the horticulture aspect of a vineyard. I like pruning the plants, and I was clueless about winemaking, but then you get a boatload of grapes, you got to give it a shot. So I went to University of Wisconsin for like a intensive course to how to do it all.
That's cool.
But it's all trial and error. I have some consultants that I work with, but now I can produce like almost 1,000 bottles of wine a year.
So who's drinking all that wine?
Our customers.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the threshold as a hobby. So 1,000, you can't do more than 1,000, or then
Then become a business.
Yes. So I'm keeping it under that, and we call it's called Modern Viking.
I like
vineyard.
that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that was a trademark name actually, because I'm Danish, and I had to throw Viking in there somehow, and we give it to customers during the course of the year, and the customers that really like it, they'll ask for it, and we give it to employees, friends.
You didn't bring any for us to try?
I should have.
Yeah.
I'll drop one off.
Oh, man.
And,
What kind of wine is it?
It is. It's red and white. There's Marquette's, Petite Pearl, Frontenac are the reds, and there's La Crescent, La Crosse, Frontenac Gris are the whites.
Yeah.
And they're getting good. I mean, it's I'm learning, and my first bottle was 2018.
What's been your favorite year so far?
Well, that's a good question. 2018 was really good. Of course, one thing with reds, they age. The longer, I think there's like from year 3 to 8, their peak somewhere in there.
That's the prime time.
Yeah,
Right there. Okay.
And with the 18 bottle, I'm like, yeah, this is really, really good. But now I'm down to maybe 3 of those. So,
Oh no.
So that's my own private stock, I guess. But
Gotta sign it and hide it. It'll
Yeah.
be worth a fortune, in the future.
But 2023 was really good. I'm really that was from a volume standpoint. Last year was a disaster. We had a hailstorm.
Oh, and it destroyed them.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
A few days before harvest, and it hailed at our house, and I was more concerned about my new car. I was like, did it get dented? And then
you could fix that. Your poor vineyard.
And then I went out to the vineyard the next day. I was like, well, what happened? And it's like, oh, the hail.
There's a vineyard just up past what made me think of it as we're just past the University of Wisconsin-Madison. So if that's what you were speaking of,
Yep.
it's called Wollersheim.
Yes.
Yes.
That's probably the most known one.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with the owner, and they actually have a machine they use to help fight hail. They literally it blows a special air just above the grapes, and it literally helps defend against hail. It is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, when I started, I thought the biggest problem was going to be the birds, but
or deer. I would have thought deer, especially around here.
Yeah, they browse, but they don't eat the fruit.
Oh, really?
That's more the beginning, and then you can. I hang bars of soap, Irish Spring soap,
really?
on the plants, and they don't like the mint smell.
The deer don't.
Yeah, and we do the same with trees. We'll hang mint around, Irish Spring soap around our trees too. If you on the edges, it's just the smell of it though.
On that note of deterring, how do we deter chipmunks? What's like a good, easy home remedy?
I've tried everything. If it's a hardscape, we'll put like fine wire mesh.
Oh, like use some real defense.
Yeah,
okay.
Dig that in there. But I've tried dropping mint cotton balls down their holes.
All that. Yeah.
That's a home remedy that might have worked, but it didn't really work.
Somebody told us peppermint oil once, and that didn't seem to do shit. The red pepper flake. The red pepper flakes took care of the raccoons. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
They did not like the red pepper flakes, but we have this. So right through our yard, through our backyard, it's a perfect line through a good creek and then into a forest preserve. So our house is like the Oregon Trail of animals. Like we get them all, and we just we don't want to bother them. We just want them to just avoid. Can we just avoid our house? But I digress, as always. But
rabbits were the worst one. That from last year.
Really?
Rabbits were horrible. I mean, not in the vineyard, but at our jobs, they ate all kinds of perennials to the ground, and we were trying to pick ones that they didn't touch, and there weren't many.
We have wild strawberries that some reason started showing up in our backyard, and so now we have tons of rabbits. And we have a low deck, but it's got the chalice, so it's little openings, and we could see where they chewed perfectly, and they just under our deck because they hide from all the big predators that cut through our yard.
Yeah.
So we know we let the bunnies be, but because we've had disasters before with animals back there. Oh boy. But anyway, so we totally went off the rails here. I told you the hour was going to fly by. Again, so we don't, as we're recording this is February 18th? No, it's not February 18th. What am I looking at? March 10th. That was, anyway. So I'm not sure when this is going to air, but is there anything you want to plug or shout out? Is there events or something, anything at all that's date driven that you guys want to give a plug for?
Well, we'll be out at the Lake County Home Show in April.
Oh, yes.
And then we'll have a booth there. And so we do have, as Dan had said before, we'll come out and visit. Our reps will come visit. They'll do a complimentary consultation. So when you are contacting us, there's contact forms on our website. And you can also give us a call and schedule a consultation, and we'll come out and visit your property because from start to finish, we go from design, conception to maintenance, plant health care, nursery. We do it all. So we'll provide
and you guys aren't
solutions.
and I'm pretty sure we kind of emphasize this. You guys aren't retail. I shouldn't show up to you guys and be looking to be buying something.
We do have a tree planting program that's year round. So if people are interested they just want a tree or a few trees, or larger plants that they can't do themselves at a decent size, they can contact Kelly Turner. She handles that, and they can come out to the nursery and look. So they can see everything, and they can tag their.
This is the one. I have to have that one.
Exactly. So they can physically see it.
Yeah.
And some people will just do it by pictures, but and then they can have a professional arborist help site the tree on their property. So as I was mentioning earlier, for spacing.
Yeah. Don't whoever planted their tree in a front yard. Now you're going to pay attention because I'm going to mention it if you haven't already noticed. Whatever that tree is they planted by our front road was the wrong tree, because those roots, one, the tree feels like it's coming up, but it is messing up the street, it's messing up the sidewalk, and it's technically the owner planted it, but the city It's on city property. It's a hot mess, man. But
Is it a silver maple?
oh, I couldn't for $1 million. I
Yeah.
could not tell you what it is. You'll be able.
I'll
You'll
look
walk
it
out
up.
right away and you'll tell me. But it is not the right tree size for that space at all. But anyway, so Dan, Jen, it's been so much fun today. I appreciate all the things you guys do. I appreciate small business. And thank you, Jen, because making this happen and reaching out and plugging. It's like, you guys got it. And I was looking forward to actually some landscaping services to come on. So this worked out. And hardscape and everything but anything to do with water.
Yes.
Dan, I appreciate your insights. I appreciate your guys' preparedness. So thank you guys, and I hope you guys have a great afternoon.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you guys just know we shop local, we support small, and until next time, goodbye for now. Another episode and another incredible local business you wish you'd have found sooner. If you had fun today, share this with someone who needs to hear it, leave a review, and most importantly, put your money where your community is. Find a local business, show them some love, and tell them Small Business Big Dreams sent you. I'm Eric Poul. Shop small, dream big, and until next time, goodbye for now.